who would inherit his family's shop. Many in the village wondered about this. They would gossip over bowls of beef noodles, making bets about when the tailor might sell his shop on the cheap. I, of course, did none of this, and flashed evil eyes when I heard them whisper about the tailor and his armless son, until news spread to my door one night that the tailor's wife, bedridden once more, had breathed her last, and that not even I had any choice but to ponder such business matters. The next morning, a few from our village saw his little body in the Yangtze, thrashing up against the current while kicking like a river dolphin in the water. And we had thought every Baiji in the Yangtze had already passed away. Once I saw him practicing in the river. It was on a clear day, though this did not matter given the Yangtze's murky nature. I was rushing from the market to see his father about a tear in my wife's blouse, when suddenly I noticed the armless boy surging across the river. Lying on his back, his small body undulated as if he were a wave himself. At each crest, he lifted his head to take in new gulps of air, as if gasping for life, before sinking back beneath the water. At first, I feared that the boy was drowning. But then, as I watched him, I became transfixed by the smoothness of his rhythmic motion, his body moving effortlessly through the river like a long muscle. Perhaps it was only the sun playing tricks with these old eyes, but in the bubbles formed by the water his body displaced, I began to imagine sinewy arms extending from his shoulders. So graceful and natural were the movements of his body in the Yangtze. "Tell me, old man, that boy in the river, he is not one of this village, is he?" A booming voice cut across my thoughts. I turned to see a stranger. He stood leaning slightly toward the river, painting the first Wuhan Yangtze bridge, spreading dabbles of color upon white paper, while continuing his musing. Rather, he swims as if he belongs to the water itself. What rudeness from this man to interrupt my silence! And he was not even from our village. "Yes, he is the son of my tailor, and he has no arms," I said. "You would do better to paint him instead." "Really? Is that right?" the visitor said. He stared at the swimmer floating in the river. "He must have such strong legs." Yes, this was true. But later, when I spoke with the tailor, he boasted that the secret lay not with his son's legs, but rather his feet. It was this extraordinary skill with his toes which allowed the boy to brush his teeth, and even pick up chopsticks to enjoy his favorite dishes of steamed wuchang fish, or so the tailor told me. "Why does he swim so often?" I asked the boy's father too, after I arrived at his tailor shop. He replied that he did not know, but when the newspapers began to write about his son, he suddenly announced the reason. "For the communist government and our great chairman Mao Zedong." Those words were quoted in his name and printed in the Changjiang Daily Press. "Boy with no arms swims across the Yangtze," that first headline read. Soon, reporters from other cities in Hubei province were traveling to Wuhan too to write about the swimmer, and one day I even heard that a famous reporter from Xinhua, Beijing, had come to our train station. So much attention bestowed upon our humble village. Not since the grace of our chairman's swim in the Yangtze had we enjoyed such attention. From morning to dusk, reporters would crowd along the edge of the river to take photographs of the swimmer practicing his dolphin kicks in the cloudy water. At the beginning of this commotion, a few local boys, no doubt among them the no-good sons of four-eyed Afong and shiny-head Lao Chen, followed the swimmer into the river in hopes of being photographed too. Barely 1 week passed before those local boys gave up their foolish ambitions, as stories of the armless swimmer continued printing in every paper while their own faces remained unseen. Soon, the tailor's son returned to being the only swimmer in the Yangtze. "You are so lucky," every villager of Wuhan told the father, and indeed before long he became known as the most famous tailor in all of Hubei. Sometimes he would even reject business. "My son is the swimmer of Yangtze," the tailor would say if he were tired, and because of this reputation, nobody he rejected ever acted upset. Then one morning I was eating a bowl of beef la mian at Four-Eyed Afong.